Listen, alcohol is just out in 2024. There is a rising trend of going alcohol-free or being sober curious, and alcohol, the truth is, it's just bad for you and can famously impair your sex life. So if you're looking for another way to unwind, relax, or just have fun, I cannot recommend Via's THC gummies enough. Via has gummies for every occasion. Whether it's to improve your sleep, I love their sleep gummies. I take them everywhere. Your mood or your focus. They even have an aphrodisiac gummy called High Love to boost my arousal levels. High Love has a unique blend of cannabinoids and aphrodisiac exotic herbs that are known for their libido enhancing effects. So I've been using Via for a while now, and I absolutely love them. They're a super trusted company. They use premium hemp, natural ingredients, and they're known for their premium indoor THCA flower. All their products are made here in the U.S. They got quick and discreet shipping to all 50 states, so you can all enjoy them, not to worry. And also super affordable. So head over to viahemp.com and use code Emily at checkout to save 15% off your order. That's VIIAHEMP.com. Use code Emily at checkout for 15% off your order, and let me know what you think. Hey everyone, welcome to Sex with Emily. Tonight's show you're going to love. We're going to be talking about the orgasm gap between men and women. Why are so many women having a hard time orgasming? We've got Jeff here from Promescent. It's going to be a great show. Thanks everyone for listening and for supporting my sponsors. My latest electronic obsession is not a vibrator. It is my No Pro. Getting rid of unwanted hair as a woman, it's a part-time job. Seriously. I'd be afraid to add up how much money I've spent on razors and waxing and threading. I mean, I've tried it all. The bottom line is the No Pro is the best and, dare I say, only way to remove unwanted hair with no pain. It's for men, too. You know, the hair on your back, your long neck hairs, your chest, whether it's your leg, your arms, your face. You will love how easy this is to use and the weeks of long-lasting results. No Pro comes with a 100% 60-day money-back guarantee, and when you purchase, you'll get a $50 gift card to an award-winning skincare line. Go to nonoemily.com. That's nonoemily.com.
Look into his eyes. They're the eyes of a man obsessed by sex. Eyes that mock our sacred institutions. Bedroom eyes, they called them in a bygone day.
Hey, Emily. You got a boyfriend? Because my man E here, he just got his heart broken. He thinks you're kind of cute.
A girl's got to have her standards. Oh, my.
Do women know about shrinkage?
Isn't it common knowledge?
What do you mean, like laundry? It shrinks?
Can we not talk about sex so much?
Are you kidding me?
Oh, my God. It feels so good.
Being bad feels pretty good. You know, Emily's not the kind of girl you just play with.
You're listening to Sex with Emily. We're talking about sex, relationships, and everything in between. For more information, go to sexwithemily.com, where you can check out my podcast, check out my blogs, improve your sex life, because that's really what you're all about, right? That's why you're listening to the show. You can subscribe on iTunes. We do 2 shows a week. You'll never, ever miss another show again. And I'm here with Anderson.
Of course you are. Hi.
What's up, Anderson?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Good. We're good now that we're sitting. We both had kind of hectic days.
Oh, it was a hellish day. This has been the goal, to just get to a place where I can sit down across from Em.
Aw, I love that. That makes me feel good. I'm actually in my happy moment right now.
Yeah, it's actually paying off. It's like a lot of times, like, oh, if I can only get to the end of the day and I can get that mani-pedi, and then you're like, your feet are still hurting because she's like using the wrong tool. This is working for me.
I love that. It's so relatable. You must be married or something.
I am.
I love it. I love it. Okay, I also have my special guest tonight is Jeff Abraham, from the CEO of Absorption Pharmaceuticals, and which is Promescent. You've all heard me talk about Promescent, which is a delay spray to last longer in bed. So tonight we're going to be talking about not just lasting longer, but also the orgasm gap. Did you ever realize that, a lot of women, they just might not orgasm when you're ready to orgasm? And in fact, there is a true orgasm gap. There was a study published by Men's Health, and women were asked what is most likely to prevent you from having an orgasm. And the second highest response was, my partner doesn't last long enough. So that's one. But also, so I don't know if that's you should keep listening. And according to a large-scale survey of American adults, women have about 1 orgasm for every 3 that a man enjoys. What about equality here, people? Right, Jeff? What do you think?
Absolutely.
Is that why you exist on the planet?
It should be a minimum of 1 to 1.
I know, exactly. A minimum, because women, we can have multiples.
Exactly.
So that's just like BS. So I call this the orgasm gap, and it's been a point of contention since, feminists identified it during the heyday of the sexual revolution, that there is a gap. And a lot of times, for women, it's a much more, it's harder. We need more time. There's like the whole hookup culture now, and women just aren't having their orgasms. So we're just going to give you some tips here. And your orgasms, guys, they're important too. Everyone's orgasms are important. So we're going to be talking about that tonight. We've got some sex in the news. We're answering some of your emails, and I'm just very excited for tonight's show. Oh, some of the emails topics includes a swingers cruise, a couple at a hustler event, quality lubricants, and kettles for men. So I've got a little sex in the news here for you, which I don't know, Jeff, I don't know if you've heard of this story, this in the news. College students created a nail polish that changes colors when exposed to date rape drugs. This just came out. This is amazing. So there's 4 male students, you'll like these young entrepreneurs. Jeff is a major entrepreneur. At North Carolina State University, they're attempting to put an end to date rape with their own hands. More accurately, they're ending it in with the hands of their friends, girlfriends, and female supporters. So these guys invented a nail polish called Undercover Colors that changes shades when touched by a date rape drug. So if the woman wants a test, she can just stick it in the in the drink, and it changes colors. And the company calls itself the first fashion company working to prevent sexual assault. And it can detect Rofinol, is that what it's called, like a roofie? Rofinol, yeah. Rofinol, Xanax, and GHB. So how it works is when you're wearing the nail polish, they can test their drink by stirring it with their finger. Might not be the most, polite thing to do, but that's how you do it. And the company helps to make would-be rapists fear the potential repercussions of being caught trying to drug a woman.
I think it's brilliant on 2 facets. Number 1, from the business aspect. But number 2, I can't think of anything that's more vile that a man can do.
Right.
Than do something like that to a woman, render her unconscious, and then violate
exactly
that. So I think it's great from a business standpoint. Obviously, from an entrepreneurial standpoint,
right.
It's brilliant. But I think just from a personal standpoint, I think it's excellent that there's a way now to combat that, because I don't think there's a week that goes by I don't see an article about somebody using a date rape drug on somebody.
It's so true. It says that 18% of women will be sexually assaulted in their lifetime. That's 1 in 5 women in our country.
Yeah, and that's probably underreported, because think of how many people, because of shame and everything else, it never even makes it to being reported.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Totally. So that was just the innovative sex story of the week. So I hope and they're raising money too. So you can go to their Facebook page, which, I don't have it on here, but I don't know what it's called. We'll find it. Google it. Oh, it'll be on it's on our website. Go to sexemily.com and we'll tell you all about it. So that's what we got here for Sex in the News. And we're going to we'll take a call real quick because we have a caller. Let's see how we roll with this, Anderson. Hello. Hi, Jason.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, you're on the Sex with Emily show.
Hey.
Thanks for calling.
Sure.
How can we help you? I'm here with Jeff Abraham from Promescent, and we would love to help you with anything going on in your life. Talk to me.
The question is, I'm a little older. I'm mid-30s, and I've dated guys exclusively my whole life, and I've been pretty successful getting the kind of guys I like. Mm-hmm. But at this point, I'm getting older, and I'm noticing that I'm just excluded as far as just for an age consideration, not necessarily for dissimilarities and lifestyle or anything like that. I get along with somebody that's 22 just as well as somebody that's 40 or whatever.
Right.
Not a problem. But so now I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm probably going to be on this planet another 35, 40 years, and, I'm not going to be able to pull the guys that I always pulled. So I'm thinking, I've never really been with a woman before, so if I just kind of give up on guys, that might be the best thing for my legacy, rather than me just being some pathetic guy trying to pull somebody.
Okay, back up, Jason. How old are you?
I'm 35.
You're 35. Okay, and
yeah.
Okay, so you're doubting the fact that you'd ever find a successful life partner because you think that 35 is old?
Well, I'm not interested in it. I'm of the age where before all this stuff was in vogue type thing. I'm kind of in the, I predate all that stuff. So
right.
It's kind of the new stuff to me is just like cell phones to somebody's grandparents. It's totally foreign to them. So this whole getting married to a dude was never on the radar, and
right.
So I guess it never will be.
Okay, but Jason, here's the thing. You've been with men your entire life. You've never been with a woman, and you're making this intellectual decision based that you could be with a woman. I mean, you could try. There's nothing wrong with trying it out and see if you like it, but wouldn't you think it would have hit you before to be with women? I just can't imagine that you're going to all of a sudden switch, but you never know. Is it because you want to have children?
Well, I can see where my life is heading right now, and I'm not going to be the guy in apartment 4B that just, might be gay, might not be, watches his nephews and nieces grow up. I just don't see, that's not something I want to
Right.
do.
So,
but I mean, so to date, it's been great and no problems, but now it's just starting to be a reality check. So
I know, but I feel like you're making these negative predictions into the future where you don't even know what's going to happen. I mean, have you had successful relationships with men?
I have. I mean, a lot of them not as successful as I'd like them to be. I think I've forced relationships just because you need to have somebody to love, I think.
Right.
But I don't think I've, put together something that has ever really worked. It's just been something that is tolerable and.
Right. Okay, so, I mean, Jason, I have no problem. I mean, I think if you want to date a woman, I mean, I think that you should try it. I always say everyone should try everything once. And if it's not your
how do I break that to her? Because I feel like it's a deal breaker for most women. So how would I
you tell her that
this is not. I'm done with that, and I'd like to try.
I don't think that it's something that I would bring up right away. To be honest, on the first date, you're the first woman I've ever dated. I would wait until So you've never even kissed a woman or anything?
I have middle school, high school type.
Yeah,
stuff,
so it's been a while. I wouldn't lead with the fact that you've led a gay lifestyle. I would just go out on the date and see how it goes and see how you feel, and if it's someone you're comfortable with, and if it does escalate to the point of where you're going to have sex. I mean, and if it does get to that point, I'm sure you would already have told her, but I wouldn't feel like you need to lead with that. But I think it sounds like it's something that you feel like you need to do. But I also think that this whole notion that it's not what you didn't pictured for yourself, and so far you've been a gay man. I think you could find someone that you love, gay, or a man or a woman. Either way, I don't think it has to do with being gay or not. I think it's just about where you're at. So maybe, are you? I don't know. It sounds like are you in a good place right now? Emotionally, are you depressed?
I feel like I'm very I'm in my prime, and I feel like I'm very happy. I just feel like I don't feel like chasing anymore. I don't feel like chasing guys anymore. I just
well, maybe it's the guys you're picking.
I'm not living that life anymore.
Okay.
Early on, he said something about now he's getting 35 and he can't pull the quality of guy or the same kind of guys. Being a 57-year-old male, I can tell you that if you do decide to date women, you're going to run into the same thing. Your options as you age, it's not specific to gay or straight. Right. As you age, your options, become more limited closer to your own age, unless you win the lottery or happen to be a movie star or have some kind of notoriety.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's anything to do with being gay. I think it's more just facing your reality as you mature.
No, I think that's a great point.
I see, but with my parents, they're still together and everything. I think that what they have is kind of how I could see myself aging into that. You know what I mean? I don't see the things I would do now are totally still the same things a 20-year-old would do, but at 50 and 60, that would just be retarded. To even
it sounds like it sounds like you've been dating younger guys and you've been doing hookup and you haven't had a serious relationship with someone maybe your own age that's also gay or a woman. But I don't think that. Yeah, I mean, Jeff is right. It doesn't matter. No matter what age you are, things do change. Opportunities change, but it doesn't sound like you've actually been looking for love in the right places then, because there are guys out there who don't just want to hook up. And
he's sounding too like he's equating the monogamy to a heterosexual relationship and maybe not to a gay relationship.
Yeah. I mean, could you be... yeah.
And I see gay couples that have been together 30, 40 years seem very happy together.
Yeah.
Well, I agree that happens. I'm just, monogamy for me has been a let's keep me alive type thing versus a love thing. I hate to say it, but it's more of a, this is the sexual reality of it. I have to,
Right.
In order to continue to be on this planet like I am now, I had to make decisions, in my 20s and early 30s.
Right.
I made good decisions, but so that's from me saying I need to be monogamous, not necessarily from monogamy is the thing.
Right. No, I agree. I'm with you. I mean, monogamy is not for everybody, and I think that. But I don't think that dating a woman is going to make you clearer on this. I think it's about just who you are and who you're attracted to, and the partners that you pick who have the same values and want the same things that you want right now. We all change. I used to go out and date all the time, and I'm like, no, I might just want to date one person. We all change, and that's good that you're looking at it and you realize I'm done with that. But it doesn't mean that just because you're done with that part of your lifestyle that it matters what you're dating a man or a woman. I just think it's
Okay.
But I don't think it's a problem if you do it, and if you do, I wouldn't bring it up on the first date.
Okay.
Keep me posted, Jason. Good luck to you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Hi, Jeff. Okay, so that was good input. Okay, so I'm talking to Jeff Abraham, and he's the CEO of Absorption Pharmaceuticals. And we first met because of Promescent.
Correct.
Which is, you've all heard me talk about it. But first, I want you to tell me the story, which is it helps with premature ejaculation. It's the only FDA-approved treatment. And I know you've all heard me talk about it, but we're going to get into a lot more today because it's not just about that. But first, Jeff, can you tell me the story about how you came to be the CEO of Promescent?
Yes. I had had a semiconductor engineering business, and I was also a single father, and my son left to go to college. And I had spent 25 years building my business and raising my son. And when he left for college, I thought it was time to maybe explore a little bit of life. And so I've been very fortunate, had some success. So I decided to retire at the same time he left for college. And I went from being busy 20 hours a day, 7 days a week, to being busy 0 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it was kind of a shock. And at the time, being 52 years old, I went in to see a good personal friend of mine who happened to be my physician and urologist, Dr. Ronald Gilbert, for my yearly PSA, that kind of a thing. And while I was there, he asked me if I would review a business that he had started. And I said, sure. And after my exam, we went in, and he started telling me about this, Promescent, this drug he had developed. And the interesting thing was, 2 weeks prior to that, I had watched a 60-minute segment on counterfeit drugs. And it was fascinating because 80% of it was all about the ED drugs. Because if you're going to counterfeit something,
Viagra.
You want, Viagra, Cialis, Levitra. You want two elements come into play: huge demand and an inflated price. Because then that gives you a big market and a relatively big area to come in between from a price standpoint. And they estimated that the ED market was over $5 billion. That was legitimate between Viagra, Cialis, Levitra. Wow. This is in 2009. And they said for every legitimate tablet made, there were 1.2 knockoffs. So you can imagine it's like $10, $12 billion market worldwide.
Wow.
So I said to Ron, how big is this PE market? Because he developed Promescent for PE compared to ED. And he said 30% larger. I almost fell on the floor.
Wow.
I'm like, larger? He goes, yeah. And I go, what are people using now?
Right.
He said, there's nothing that's really good. He said people use SSRIs, and that's a medical term for serotonin reuptake inhibitors.
Antidepressants.
The depression drugs, Paxil, Zoloft, those kind of things. And I said, well, do they work? He goes, yeah, they increase a man's ability to, not ejaculate, but they have dry mouth, nausea, vomiting, loss of libido, suicidal thoughts. I'm like, excuse me, I'll take the PE.
Right.
And I go, really? He goes, yeah. And he goes, not only that, you can't take them on demand. You're going to be intimate. You're going to use them. You have to take them every single day. They build up in your system. They're expensive. You have all these side effects all the time. And I'm like, that's the only thing. I go, that's insane. He goes, yeah. So I asked him for a sample of it.
And this is what he showed you. He's like, I made this thing.
He showed me. He said, here's the product. They had already had it, and they were commercializing it.
Okay.
And so I said, does it have a recreational component? Because at the time, being 52 years old, having a lot of friends that were in my age range, anyone who thinks that they were selling $8 billion a year in Viagra, Cialis, Levitra, all for people with ED, has to be smoking crack. Okay, it's a recreational drug. I mean, I have friends that eat them like M&Ms. Okay?
Right. No, I know.
Exactly. So he said, yeah, it has a tremendous recreational component. So I asked him for a sample, and I took it home, and I happened to be dating a guy who was a financial analyst at the time. I'm not kidding you. So I call her up from the parking lot. I'm like, hey, I need you to help me evaluate this investment. Okay?
I do that all the time with my sex toys.
Exactly. So she comes over, we have dinner, and she goes, let's take a look at that investment. So she figures I'm going to come down with this spreadsheet, or this pro forma, Yes, I come down, I have this bottle of Promescent. She's like, you're such a perv. I go, I'm serious. I'm thinking of investing in this company. So the next day I call Ron. He goes, what do you think? And I go, first of all, the name has to be changed. He goes, you don't like Promescent? He starts going into this very serious explanation about why it means prolonged tumescence. Tumescence is the actual name, the medical name for an erection, And he goes, you don't like that? I go, well, it's a little too technical. He goes, what do you like better? I go, how about bone like a porn star? He starts laughing. He goes, I told you. I go, that stuff's insane. And so I said, give me 10 bottles. He goes, where are you going? I go, the women's volleyball house over at UCR. Exactly. I was kidding. Right. I said, I want to see if other people have the same reaction that I do.
Okay.
So I took the 10 bottles that he gave me, and I spread it out. Some of my ex-employees at the company that I had were in their 30s, 40s, some of them, and then some of my friends back in Pittsburgh where I was born and raised. And people think I'm a bad father, but my son was 19 years old going to UC Santa Barbara, okay? You've met Nick. I mean, I was under no impression that he was, not active.
Right.
So,
your son's awesome.
Yeah, so I gave some to him and his friends up at UC Santa Barbara. And within 2 weeks, everyone gave me the exact same response.
What do they want?
What was that? Where can I get more of it? So I literally invested $200,000. I went over to Ron, wrote him a check. I said, I want to invest in this company. So I was bored. I just retired.
Right. And it's so funny because before you got here, Andrew and I were talking about, I'm like, God, I just want to be the talent. And sometimes because it's a business. And I said, but honestly, if I was just a talent and I didn't have a lot to do, I'd probably go insane. Because I've always been this person who's so busy.
That's exactly. And I went from being busy 20 hours a day to being 0 hours a day. So I wrote this business plan. And they said, well, that's great, but it's going to take some additional capital. We don't have that. So I invested another $200,000. Okay. I said, you have to use it for exactly what I told you to do. And okay, great, we'll do that. And they had great results. So in June of 2011, they asked me to take over the company. And I did. And I realized we needed some more capital because we wanted to do some things. And things went really, really well. And they took off. And they had been doing some things that really weren't, I'm not going to say they were dumb, but they weren't really intelligent. I mean, they were doing infomercials and
for Promescent. So that's just to put context. Before this time then, because you always hear about ED, there was really, because all I had ever, I've been doing this for 8 years, so all I ever heard was, stop-start method, antidepressants, but there's really, if you're a premature ejaculator, sometimes there's just not.
Not only is there nothing, but here's the dangerous part. There's so much quackery out there. Deer antler extract. I'm not kidding.
No, there is,
Bull testicle derivative. Shark fin. I'm like, what? So what happens is, if you want to make this successful, you develop use the model of Viagra, Cialis, Levitra. Have a medical competency, be certified by the medical community that is actual legitimate.
Approval, right?
Exactly. And then the recreational follows because people aren't stupid. They'll go, hey, if it works for your PE, it's going to turn me into Superman. So we hired some pharmaceutical reps.
Because so just to be clear, even if you last 10 minutes in bed, but you want to last 20, it'll double it. I know because it's amazing. Sometimes longer. Yeah,
exactly. The one thing that I always tell people is you have to get out of the thought process that if you last long enough to satisfy your woman, that means you have a great sex life. Do you know how many men there are that you talked about the orgasm gap? These are not people with PE. The average healthy male lasts 5 minutes and 14 seconds during intercourse. The average female takes 19 minutes during intercourse to climax.
On a good day.
On a good day. And so that's the orgasm gap you spoke of. That's why there's 8 billion vibrators in the world. That's why there's so much extensive
in
foreplay.
My home. Alone. Where else is there?
Exactly. But what I tell people, and a big percentage of our business is gravitating this way right now, men who don't think that they need something because they go, I last long enough to satisfy my wife, partner, or, but what happens is they're tense, they're thinking about baseball scores, stopping, switching positions, instead of experiencing pleasure, instead of feeling abandoned, abandonment, just, reckless abandon and just going for it.
True.
They're walking on eggshells and they're very cognizant of not ejaculating.
Right. And they're not enjoying it.
It makes them robotic.
Right.
And so that is really, when this product is mature 4 to 5 years from now, the 80% of the business will come from people who traditionally would not even be qualified as having PE.
Which we're going to come back. We're going to talk about what qualifies you as PE, but first we have to have a word from our sponsors. So thanks, everyone, for listening to this show. And as you know, I love being able to have you have the sex life you deserve. So thank you for supporting my sponsors. So Fleshlight is the #1 sex toy for men. Wouldn't it be amazing if you could feel the pleasure of having sex anytime, even when you don't have a partner? The Fleshlight is the most popular sex toy for men. It actually simulates the sensations of sex. It does. I'm telling you, I've given it to every guy in my office building and friends around here, and they're just freaking out about it. It was engineered to look and feel like the real deal, and some people say it's better than sex. Have you tried one, Jeff?
Have not.
I gotta bring you a flashlight. Oh my God! Not that you need it, but no,
so it's
everyone
like
needs it. It's just fun.
But it's just
it's a male masturbation sleeve. So women, we've got thousands of vibrators, and men, it's sometimes you don't want to use your hand. You think, why do I need it? Just wait till you try it, okay? So you got to check that out. You can experience some of those mind-blowing orgasms of your life. And if you've ever experienced having sex with your favorite porn star, they've got them molded after your favorite porn star. So they're available in realistic flesh tone colors, and each custom molded fleshlight is amazing masturbation sleeves, all of them. So if you go to sexwithemily.com/fleshlight, you can get your fleshlight now. That's sexwithemily.com/fleshlight. Also, I got to tell you about the amazing people at goodvibes.com. They carry all the best sex toy brands. You can get the Vibratex, Dahlia, or the Rabbit. If you have one of those old rabbits from like 10 years ago, you should see the new Rabbit Habit. They've got everything. So when you use coupon code Emily, you can get anything you want, the strongest, most orgasmic vibrator of all time as well, the magic wand. Go to my site, sexwithemily.com. Click on the Good Vibes banner to see my favorite toys because you know I have tried them all. Use coupon code GVEmily20. That's GVEmily20. Go to sexwithemily.com. Check it. Hey, Jeff. Okay, so PE is, we were talking about even it could become recreational because some guys just, they don't. But what, technically you define PE as, I always say people who ejaculate before they want to. But really, like, it's more, is there more of a technical,
Here's the crazy thing. If you go by the American Urological Association and the SMSNA, which is the Sexual Medicine Society of North America, these are the ruling governing bodies medically that define these terms. PE is someone who never lasts more than 60 seconds during intercourse with their partner, the Minuteman. And I think that's so absurd because you're saying to a guy who lasts 90 seconds to his partner needs 19 minutes, you go, you don't have PE?
Right.
Your definition is exactly the definition that I use, which makes sense. It's very pragmatic.
Right.
Is what is premature? Lasting not long enough to have a satisfactory sex life. Lasting not long enough to really either satisfy your partner or yourself. The idea that anything over 60 seconds is satisfactory, it's a subjective thing.
Right.
You should be the judge of what is premature in your case.
Exactly.
And now they're trying to tone it down by saying rapid ejaculation because maybe premature freaks people out. I think this is very similar to what ED was 20 years ago. Before there were legitimate remedies, people were so freaked out they didn't want to talk about it because there was a stigma. And I think the medical community has done a disservice because there's all these old wives' tales about it's a loss of, mental, control, and it's all psychological. The Urological Association has defined specific medical conditions that cause PE, hypertension, penile hypersensitivity, prostatitis. This isn't something that's in your head. There are physiological reasons why a man prematurely ejaculates. And to have this stigma is crazy. Would people be hesitant to talk about insulin for diabetics?
Mm-hmm.
Would they be hesitant to talk about chemotherapy for cancer patients? Of course not.
Right.
But why this stigma and people freak out when you start talking about sex? You need to take the stigma out of it and start talking about allowing people to enjoy and enhance their lives.
Exactly. So, it's true. And it's so close to me because I did date someone for 2.5 years, long time ago. It was probably like 10 years ago, and he had PE. Mm-hmm. And it was, he was about a minute if we're on a good day, or less than that. And we tried, we bought books. We tried, literally everything, the stop-start method he would practice. And it was just so frustrating because I know, like, he was in his head and sex was always just so stressful. We were together 2.5 years.
Well, you can imagine in his mind.
Yeah.
And this is.
Well, now that I have such a greater understanding of it,
and the poor guy, it wasn't. He was trying to use mind techniques for something that was a physiological problem.
And then he's not enjoying sex.
He's not enjoying it. And the one thing that is amazing, as big as the ED market is, 20 to 30% of ED patients are actually PE patients. Because if a man has PE for an extended period of time, he will get anxiety-related ED. Right. So if you know that every time you get an erection and you're about to be intimate, if it's going to lead to an unsatisfactory conclusion, you will eventually develop ED because you know getting the erection is going to lead to an unsatisfactory conclusion.
Then you lose your erection. So let's talk about the difference between erectile dysfunction and PE. Mm-hmm. How would you define the... Erectile
dysfunction is the inability to get an erection. It's the inability to actually get an erection capable of having penetration or having intercourse.
Because isn't it also like if you get one and you lose it?
Yes, you can have, exactly.
That happens a lot too, men, when they...
Even without ejaculating, you'll lose your erection.
Even if you're still turned on, you lose it. Right, you can't do anything about it.
PE is having an erection, significant enough for penetration to have sex, but very quickly ejaculating and not being able to last long enough to satisfy your partner.
Right.
But we find that a lot of, our customers and a lot of people that use the product their primary thing is that this makes me feel so much better. They just feel so much more complete satisfying their woman.
Right.
They just feel so much better being able to have a satisfactory relationship, because we have people that tell us, I became asexual. I stopped having sex.
Right.
I literally did not.
Because they have so much fear around it.
They
I
have so
get
much
emails
fear.
all the time. They're like, is this going to happen? What if I come too quick? I mean, every single day I get email about this. That's why I was like, I got to have, I mean, you were on the show
Well, that's
before.
how we found you initially, because I was doing research on videos and people talking about it, and I go, here's someone very progressive, isn't afraid to talk about it. And I reached out to you, and I'm like, we need to get in touch with her.
That's
because
right. I feel like I've known you forever now.
Exactly.
But you're right.
It's only been a year and a half.
I know. I can't believe it. Because it is true. I'm like, that is one of the top questions I get asked, and I don't. And I'm like, okay, you could do stop-start, you could do your Kegels, but I just know that sometimes it just doesn't work. So let's talk about like how it actually works, though, because I mean, there's like a lot of questions people want to know. Like, you spray it, you put it on your penis before, like 10 minutes before.
Yes, 8 to 10 minutes before. It's a spray. And here's the beauty of it. There have been anesthetic sprays prior to this. And I'm sure a lot of your listeners will go, I've used Stud 100, I've used Mandalay, I've used this, I've used that. They do delay the ejaculatory response. The unfortunate part is they do it by numbing you. You literally can't feel anything. And they unfortunately, they transfer to your partner as well.
Right.
So you'll be in a situation you go, oh, this is great, we're lasting longer, or we've been having sex, something's going on here, we're moving, but no one can feel anything. It's like...
At least she's happy. I don't know where I am.
Exactly. Right. Well, generally she's not happy either because she gets
numb.
She
gets transferred.
For the
right.
transfer.
That's right.
So what Ron did,
God.
in the brilliance of Ron, was he found a formula. It's called a eutectic formula.
Okay.
It takes lidocaine, which is the anesthetic agent, from a crystalline to an oil aqueous form.
Okay.
So when that happens, it penetrates the stratum corneum or the dermis. It goes to the sensory nerves underneath. And that's why you wait 8 to 10 minutes. So you apply it. 8 to 10 minutes later, it's no longer on the surface of your skin. So the man it's been absorbed. The man maintains a much higher degree of surface sensitivity, which gives him the pleasure and the feeling that he's actually involved. And the woman isn't even aware that you're using it.
Have to tell. People always ask me, like, will my partner know? But if he waits 8 to 10 minutes,
then she doesn't have to know.
She will not get numb.
I tell people, though, and this is just me personally as the CEO of the company, it's not that you have to do it. I just find it really strange that if you're close enough to be intimate with someone, that you're going to be hiding something like that.
Right.
I mean, what are you going to run to the bathroom, hide, spray?
Yeah.
I mean, to me,
no.
you
right,
have a real issue, communication-wise.
Right.
If you're, it should be about enhancing the relationship.
Exactly. I mean, I used it with this guy I was dating for a while, and it was funny because that was kind of his issue. So he was great at pleasing me and all this stuff, but when we had sex, it was like boom, and then I was like, well, this is like when we first, maybe a few months in because I had no one to use it with at the time. Well, not no, I could always find someone, but whatever. I was dating someone regular. It's not like I was
I'm sure if you really wanted to use it.
It wasn't so hard.
There'd be a line of volunteers.
I was like, you are the man for this. And then he just was like, he's obsessed with it. Like, every time I'm like, I just left in my bathroom or his house. Like, he's got it. And it really, like, I never felt it. He lasts way longer. It's like he's almost become, like, dependent on it. I think we're really good friends now. We're not dating anymore, but he's like, he's never felt anything like it, and he could last so much longer. Like, it was never even an issue. It never happened again. He never came too quickly again.
Yeah, so. The product, the efficacy of it is insane. I mean, it really works. We have people that order every single month, in a large bottle, and that, my hat's off to them, because that's somebody that's very active. And we have quite a few of people like that. But I just, I'm really thrilled by the fact that the efficacy is there, and it's a problem that there is no other solution for. But this is the crazy part. We sold over 200,000 bottles so far. Since we really started marketing the product, we've had 0 calls to our contraindication lines. That's how safe it is.
I can't believe no one's ever called and said I had a problem or anything.
No. I mean,
I've never heard it, but
if you're allergic to lidocaine, you'll have some itching.
Okay.
But it goes right away, and there's no toxicity. It's very safe. I mean, nothing works for absolutely everybody. There's nothing in the world that works for absolutely everybody. But the success rate of people who try the product is really, really high. And we have testimonials, which I've shared some with you.
I get the testimonials too.
There's, I mean, just like when I talked about before, when you talked about the guy with the date rape polish, the nail stuff, I really related to that because obviously as an entrepreneur, you love the idea that it's going to be something good for your shareholders and make money. But when you keep women from being date raped and drugged, I mean, my God, how good is that? When you give a gentleman his self-esteem back, when you save a relationship, when we've had people that actually said, I was near suicide. I just felt like I couldn't have intimacy anymore. I was ready to, and then they go, I feel like I'm a new person. I mean, there's something about that that's just, it gets you up in the morning, and when you work those long hours and, you go through the frustrations of running any business, those are the things that really pull you through, and you go, this makes a difference for people.
Right,
it's not
and
just
I know
about
you also have a personal connection with Ron. I mean, the whole...
Yeah, I mean, people, I'm not sure if they're aware of this, but
I don't think so.
Ron was murdered, my partner, who developed the product, who was my very good friend, who was one of the most wonderful human beings I've ever met in my entire life. Exactly a year and a half ago, was murdered, and it was mistaken identity. Somebody who had done...
in the hospital, right?
Yeah, right in his office. He was affiliated with Hoag Hospital. He ran Orange Coast Urology, 4 urologists, a bunch of nurses, and there was a gentleman who had a prostate surgery 23 years ago in the VA hospital, decided he was going to kill the guy that did his surgery, and he was unhappy with the result. Don't ask me why it took him 23 years to figure out he was unhappy, but he went back. It was so long ago, it wasn't online. He went to the VA. It was on microfiche, of all things. They didn't even have the records anymore, and he saw the guy that did it, and it was a name similar to Ron's, and so he went back and Google searched and found Ron Gilbert, and I think the guy's name was Ron Gelhardt or something like that. So he decided he was going to kill him. Didn't realize until after he made an appointment, Ron walked in to see supposedly a new patient. He was lying in wait in a shooting position and shot Ron 8 times through the heart in the doorway. He never even made it into the room. And you can't have a more senseless tragedy than that. Not that even the guy that did his surgery deserves to die. No, I mean, that's insane.
No, but I know Ron was your best friend.
I mean, the fact that it wasn't the right guy. He wasn't even the guy that did the surgery. And, we as a society, I tell this to people all the time, when someone dies, we tend to make more out of them in death than they were in life. It's just how people are. Oh, he's the greatest guy in the world. You're going, wait a second, I knew that guy.
Right.
You didn't have to do that. Ron was a guy who lived the right way. He really and truly, he was a great father, a great husband, a great doctor. And, we used to get into these disputes once in a while. I go, you do realize we're running a business here.
Right.
And it's like, well, I'm just giving it away. This guy needs it. I go, well, why doesn't he buy it? You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
I'm the CEO of the company. I'm a little more. And he was just a healer. He was a guy who got into medicine for the right reason.
He came up with this because he saw that he had all the patients that were coming to him as a urologist, because that's why I was so interested, too, with you, because I was like, I get these emails, and I'm like, I know, and I've been through it with someone for 2.5 years. We tried everything. Nothing worked. So that's why I think
when you talk to urologists, they will tell you, if someone comes to me with ED, I have Viagra, I have Cialis, I have Levitra. Someone comes to me with prostate problems, I got this, I got that. Someone comes to me with incontinence, I got 4 or 5 options, I got all these Me Too products. Someone comes to me with PE, I have nothing. And they'll tell you that's my most frustrating patient, because they come back all the time, and I have to tell them we still have nothing, and I can see the angst and the frustration, and we have nothing for them. And so it was pure genius.
Yeah, it is. Well, thank you, because you've helped a lot of my people. So another question for you, though, is it safe for oral sex? People
yes,
ask
it is.
me that. It is.
I do tell people this. If you're going to be receiving, as a guy, oral sex, then I would suggest wait the 8 to 10 minutes, and with a damp washcloth, just wipe yourself off in case there's any residual. It really is not harmful. A very similar formulation to this, believe it or not, that preceded Promescent, was developed for oral gum surgery. Before they put the deep needles in, when you get root canals and stuff, the stuff that they spray and rub into your gums is a very similar formulation. It's lidocaine with a eutectic formula, just like Promescent. It's that safe. But I tell people that in case there's a residual taste, that might freak your partner out, that kind of thing.
Okay, so let them know.
It's safe. It's not going to do any harm.
Right.
But just in case she's like, wait a second, because it does have a kind of coconut kind of a thing, and she goes, what do you, dump a pina colada down there? You know what I mean? It's like,
I don't mind it.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't want to do it anyway. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, we're going to move on to some emails from the peeps. Yeah? Okay. So this is an email from our listeners. In fact, I love hearing from everybody, so thank you for emailing me at feedback@sexwithemily.com. It's about dating a virgin. Emily, recently I've been dating a good college friend of mine. The only thing that we've done is just making out, nothing serious. She's a virgin and I'm not, but I know from experience that I suck at sex. Recently, I purchased Down Under Comfort, which is, have I given you my Down Under Comfort? I brought some for you. Okay. And Promescent, so I smell and perform longer in bed. My question to you is this. If things start to progress, how can I make sure her first time is good? I think a massage candle would work, as that would set the mood. Also, I'm totally down on going down on her. I just want to know so that her first time is pleasurable, and if she wants to wait, I respect that decision. From Michael. So good for you for coming prepared with all these things. But I would say first time, you just want to warm her up. Foreplay. This is what we're talking about. Today, really there is the orgasm gap. Even if you don't have PE, It's not a suggestion. I'm not like suggesting that you guys shall do foreplay. It's actually a requirement. Women need time to warm up. So make it about her pleasure. You could give her a massage using like one of my massage candles. But it's about her pleasure. And make sure that you check in with her because she probably is going to be very nervous. And you don't want to rush it. You want to get her so turned on to the point where she's actually begging you to put it in and that you're not forcing it. So you sound like a really mindful guy, Michael. Like, I like that you're even just, emailing and asking.
He's a man with a plan, that's for sure. He's putting a lot of thought into this.
Oh, my God, he bought I don't have it. I have it in there. I mean, he bought everything. That's so funny. And I was to use a condom. Yes. I hope you know that you use a condom. Any more tips or first time sex? Can you remember? Did your son ever ask you for advice about sex?
No. And it's been a while since I dated a virgin being 57 years
exactly.
old. Yeah, but, to me, I didn't realize until I took this company, because having been in another industry and even, dealing with people like you and hearing these stories, there's so much anxiety.
I know.
I mean, here's a guy in a relationship with a woman. He's like freaking out. And I always laugh, and I know I'm bed. I know I suck in bed.
Right, I know. And this makes me right. How do you know?
How do you know?
You're in college, right? Well, I think it's because maybe he came too quickly because he bought the Promescent. Maybe the first time he had sex, and he thinks that he's bad in bed. It doesn't mean that you're bad in bed.
But he should communicate with her and relax and have it as a project together. Instead, he's trying to create this scenario like he's riding in on a white horse.
Right.
And, and he's like going to wrestle this damsel in distress. Or you could always look at it this way. She's not going to know anything to compare it to. She's a virgin.
That's true. She's going to think you're the best she ever had. How's that?
And she could say you're the best I've ever had because she's the only one he ever had.
Exactly. But, Michael, I think you're good. Don't stress about it too much. I mean,
relax.
Relax and have a good
time.
Have a good
Build
night.
the relationship with her. And this has always been my experience. And the intimacy will take care of itself. Because communicate. Work at it together. Don't think you're off in a laboratory, with some, white coat and, some elixir.
So many guys, that's the thing about like PE or ED or anything that it is. Guys don't want to perform oral sex, or women don't want. Talk about it. Communicate with your partner about what is going on in the moment. She knows that you can't stay hard or came too quickly. We all saw it happen. It's like the elephant in the room. But guys have so much shame. They don't even talk to you. That's what's so interesting about Ron, because he created, because his patients were coming to him, but there's so many guys that write into my show or call into Loveline, and it's like, have you talked to your doctor? And they have so much fear about talking to anyone about it.
They don't want to even be exposed.
They don't talk to their. They think it's going to go away.
We have guys that order the product and go, can it be held at FedEx so I can go pick it up? Right. I don't want to deliver in case my roommate or my kid. You know what I mean? It's like, relax.
Yeah.
Relax.
Exactly. I mean, it's. Guys,
and we have guys that will say, I want to make sure my partner has no idea I'm using it, because they want this aura of I'm Superman.
Right.
And I mean, it's crazy.
I know. I know. People they do. And you know what? Women, we appreciate a guy who can communicate it. Like, it made me so much more with this guy I was dating. He was very sensitive. And we did, at first, we probably didn't talk about the first few months, but then we talked about it, and I was in it with them. We bought books and read them. Did you do your exercises? We can do them together. I was really trying.
The Kegel exercises, the whole thing.
The Kegel exercises, yeah. I mean, it can work, but you got to be consistent, and that wasn't even working for him. So.
It's not, if it was a physiological issue, it's not Kegel exercises going to do anything.
I know. Okay, so they got to buy Promescent. Anyway, we're talking about Promescent. Okay, here's time for another email. Okay. Dear Emily, I listen to your show all the time. You're constantly talking about how you should get high-quality lube instead of KY or Astroglide. But I don't know what lubes to recommend. I don't know what lubes you recommend. Can you tell me if you go and try? I want to up our lube selection. Thanks, Tate. Tate, that's a great question. It is true. I mean, yes, you can go to the drugstore and buy KY or whatever, but I don't recommend it because a lot of times they can have ingredients in it that can infect a woman, and you just want to get something that's really safe. I would say water-based, and the ones that I love Liquid Silk. I like Sliquid, and how can I say it? Pajur, P-J-U-R. Those are my favorite water-based ones. Liquid Silk, Pajur, and Sliquid, and you can get those all at on my website. Click on sexualy.com, the Good Vibes banner, and you can go there and see those. Those are my favorite high-quality ones. Now, if you want a silicone lube, the thing about silicone lube is that they do break down condoms, and they don't work well with sex toys, but I'm obsessed with Uber Lube right now. I don't know if you've tried Uber Lube. It's friggin' amazing. So if you're in a committed monogamous relationship and you're not using condoms, I would try Uber Lube. So I'd get one of both. I tried the water-based, like the Liquid Silk, and then try the Uber Lube because it'll rock your world. It lasts forever. It's great. Okay. So is that Anderson? Are you saying that we're done?
We got to go.
I'm so sad, Jeff.
That went fast.
I know. I'm so glad you're here. It's great to see you. And
thank
you for all the information. Everyone can check out Jeff and all the stuff happening at Promescent.com. And Thanks, everyone, for listening. Check me out on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, Sex with Emily. I don't ask you for much, but if you would just right now pull out your phone and follow me in all those places, I would be so happy. Thanks, everyone, and thanks, Anderson.
Thank you, kid.
Love you being here. Thanks, everyone, for listening to Sex with Emily. Was it good for you? Email me, feedback@sexwithemily.com. Okay, so Anderson, I'm getting a new car, and in the past, I have to tell you that when I got my last car, I was actually dating this guy. I didn't like him very much, but I kept sleeping with him just so he would help me buy the car.
In the car?
No, I needed a new car, and I'm not great at car shopping. I'm a chick. They want to take advantage of me. I don't have the time.
Oh, they see you guys coming.
I know.
Yeah.
So I said to him, I was like, hey, would you take me car shopping? And he was like really into it because he wanted to date me.
He wanted to prove that he's a man.
Exactly. So
did he get you a good deal, though?
He got me a really bad deal.
You thought it was a good deal at the time.
I thought it was a good deal.
Everyone thinks it's a good deal at one point or another when the guy's going back and he's like, let me talk to my manager and see if that's doable. And then they come back, they're like, it's doable. But you have no idea. You have no clue.
And then you're going crazy and you're talking to a million places. So TrueCar.com is changing car buying forever. And I'm using it to get my new car right now. TrueCar users receive negotiation-free guaranteed savings. Some features are not available in all states. In the first 3 months of this year, over 126,000 cars were sold by the TrueCar Certified Dealer Network. Anderson, it's so friggin' easy.
It just takes the guesswork.
You just plug in the car you want, and then you get the price, and then the whole thing.
There's no more haggling.
Nothing.
I'm a terrible haggler. I'm not an agent.
I know.
I'm not an agent.
TrueCar users save an average of $3,078 off MSRP. When you're ready to buy a car, just follow these 3 easy steps. First, you go to TrueCar.com, find out what other people paid for the car you're looking for, which is so cool. Then register at TrueCar.com to see upfront pricing information and lock in your savings. Third step, so simple. You print out your TrueCar savings certificate, take it to a TrueCar certified dealer for a better, hassle-free car buying experience. Remember, every day, TrueCar users receive negotiation-free, guaranteed savings, save time, save money, and never overpay. Visit TrueCar.com today. That's TrueCar.com.